Well, he did do time.
Okay.
That's good.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's call this meeting to order. We'll start with introductions. Diane, Chair of the BPAC. Where do you want to go? Park?
Mark, BPAC. Dave Rose, BPAC.
Kim Curley, BPAC. Wendy Holzman, BPAC.
Jennifer Latz, BPAC.
Chris Chang, ODOT.
David Green, BPAC.
Pat Adabo, BPAC.
Online.
Bob Nash, BPAC.
Hobie Ariano, ODOT Regional Transit Coordinator.
Michelle Rhodes, Ben Lapine Schools.
Bob Townsend, Cascades East Transit.
Great, welcome everybody. We don't have any public comments, so we'll skip to updates. Cascade East Transit, you can start.
Thank you. Or just a few, certainly, the big news is that we re-implemented fares at the beginning of February, kind of a soft launch for the first week. And then by the second week, we're more firm. We still have a few exceptions that we're allowing. Certainly, it's going a little smoother than we thought in certain areas with our app and getting people signed up. We're still having some issues with our software that we're working through, and so we're hoping in the next couple of weeks that those are all behind us. Ridership has dipped as expected. Some of that is certainly there are some riders who choose not to ride anymore, but a lot of it is around route selection and optimization. We're specifically seeing that in the dial-a-ride. This is pretty anticipated across the nation. Whenever you re-implement fares, people make different route choices once they have to pay for them. And certainly in our dial-a-ride, we were getting a lot of use out of that on some individuals scheduling 80 to 90 trips a month. And now they're down to 30 or 40 more economical trips and doubling up things like that. So we'll see some changes on our front there as we're going to be expanding dial-a-ride service areas in Bend, Redmond, Lapine, down to Deschutes River Woods now, which will be the first time they have dial-a-ride service here, probably starting April 1st. We're finalizing the exact dates on that. So that's a byproduct of ridership going down, and now with the same amount of drivers and resources, us serving areas that don't have any transportation access. So certainly happy to get those expansions done. As far as other significant improvements, we're still working the Bend North Mobility Hub. We're into bus stop improvements phase 2. We updated signs and other things at 286 bus stops in Bend last year, along with 45 benches. I think we're up for another 65 benches and 15 new shelters this year. We've ordered them, and those installs will be happening later this summer. So that's exciting. There'll be significant Bend fixed route improvements here to routes 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We'll be updating frequencies going from 45 minutes in some to 30 minutes to some supplemental bus services down to 15-minute intervals on 3rd Street and a couple others. And we're also, the other changes involve adding service to the new library and things like that. So a lot of things moving. That's just a little bit of the main items.
Bob, is there a map or something for the dial-a-ride expansion? Is that public yet, or?
It's not public yet. It will be next week, and so certainly we have maps in each location. The main ones are and if you're familiar with it, the dial-a-ride in Bend is the only federal required dial-a-ride paratransit service. If you provide fixed route service, you have to provide dial-a-ride for paratransit qualifiers within 3/4 of a mile of those routes within 3/4 of a mile of our routes in Bend don't cover all of Bend's city limits. Now, we've expanded in different areas before, but certainly this will cover the whole metropolitan area in Bend and start serving the Deschutes River Woods. In Lapine, we cover the city limits, but if you're familiar with Lapine, you know that there's a lot of development outside those, so we'll be expanding to those. In Prineville, it'll be expanding up. Juniper Canyon will now be served with dial-a-ride. In Redmond, again, just they've had a lot of growth. This kind of meets the urban area a little bit, but certainly the new maps will be posted hopefully by the end of the next week, and we'll be soliciting people to sign up. And because on dial-a-ride, everybody has to have an account. In Bend and Deschutes River Woods, you'll have to qualify from a paratransit capability from in every other location will be open to all. But yes, hopefully by the end of next week.
Great. Thank you.
Hey Bob, it's Kim Curley. I downloaded the app and added my money to it in less than 1 minute. So that happened this week.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now I can track you, Kim.
Yeah, you can find me.
Anytime
You can find
use
what
the
bus I'm on.
I have to be really careful when I make those jokes because some people I say that in jest, Kim. I'm not going to track
No,
you.
it's okay. Bob.
I'd avoid her a bus if I could.
I am tracking Chris Chang to see how much he uses the bus. That's an absolute. There'll be a report monthly to this group at ODOT about his usage.
Why don't you just email it to all my upper management who don't exist?
You can send it to us.
Now, Chris.
Yeah.
Self-employed.
All right, great, thank you. Who's up next? Do we have anybody from Lapine? We don't, do we? Nobody's here from today. Not today, okay. Ben's Sisters.
Sorry, well, let me quickly note, I saw Anthony yesterday, the Lapine TSP kicked off, so we had our first
Okay.
pack. So that's exciting, a lot of conversation, especially around speeds and bicycle and pedestrian connectivity, filling that in. So I know he's psyched about that.
Good, thank you.
Well, we're going, let's see, May, I'm,
It's okay. We'll come back to it.
meeting will be, there's in May, so, making sure that we have, presentations, keep it exciting as always, so, we'll have the city present and also Sisters Trail Alliance do a little presentation on what they're working on. They're doing some projects kind of in the city and a little bit more, quasi pedestrian recreation crossover projects, so, that'll be exciting to hear about that. We do have funding and movements on some crosswalks on Locust Street north of our new roundabout. So it's kind of on that bypass. You use that couple crosswalks, and I think a rapid flasher crosswalk, I believe, as well, will be going in there because that whole street has nothing, no crosswalks or anything until you get to downtown, which is kind of insane. And, as you probably all know, a few weeks ago, we had a pedestrian get struck and killed downtown, crossing mid-block. But it was, but it kind of brings up a lot of, there's been a lot of conversation about it. What it's done, at least in the city, is that it kind of has brought out a few, people with concerns about bringing up pedestrian safety, which is great. I love it when those people start showing up and bringing up that issue. And so I think city council and staff, at least, for the moment, that's kind of been elevated in their purview, which is sometimes a little bit of a fight for me. Unfortunate very much that it had to happen this way. And also just kind of understanding just as a city perspective, like a city like Lapine or us or the other cities where you have state highway going through, especially a downtown area, and really being reminded that even though it's a downtown and there's not a lot of difference between, in Sisters, it's Main, Cascade, and Hood Avenues, right? The kind of the three east-west downtown streets. But the traffic on Cascade, even if it's just a car and they're all supposed to be going 20 miles an hour and all that, but, people on those other side streets are local or they're, you know, people going through Cascade, I mean, they could be an hour 7 of a 10-hour drive or something, right? Like they could be zoned out. They could, you know, they've been going 65 miles an hour and got slowed down but it's still in that mindset. It's just a different driver, even though the streets can be designed exactly the same, you know, with crosswalks, infrastructure, you know, amenities, all that. You know, the driver that you get on that, it's going to be different, which is a really interesting and kind of challenging thing to kind of plan around. But I think it's really important that, you know, we are looking at streets like that differently. And, you know, so I think, you know, like one issue I think some people think is that a lot of people cross mid-block at that location because across the street there's a private parking lot. And so for some businesses, so people, oh, there's parking lot over here, and then they just cross mid-block, which I never really realized till some people kind of pointed out. So, you know, just those weird little things, and I don't know if we have great solutions for that. But I mean, you know, like I said, the upside is that it's elevated the conversation in the community, and I kind of want to keep that momentum going. So,
How's lighting in that area? I mean, I haven't driven at nighttime up the street in years, so.
well, for the most part, you know, there's the crosswalks, you know, have the lighting, the decorative lighting, you know, so yeah, I mean, things mid-block are potentially not lit. I mean, it's really only like the lighting of an adjacent business or something.
Okay.
You know, and I mean, it's unfortunate. People have a tendency to, I mean, this is why I wear this jacket.
Yes.
Everybody likes to wear black jackets in the winter and hard to see. I mean, we know that driver was, you know, I think either inebriated or one thing or another, or had substances in the vehicle, you know, so probably was at play, unfortunately. So, but yeah, it's like anything else. Everybody has a part to play in it, and the personal responsibility, and but also, trying to design.
The other problem that Sister has, because that main drag, pardon me, and there's so many cars going through there, that if one lane of traffic gets stopped because of who knows what up ahead, I've been guilty of it's traffic stop. No, I can sneak across here, and boom, car coming the other way, they can't see you.
Yeah.
So Sisters has that blind spot because you have so much stop traffic, somebody trying to scoot across.
Yeah, it's always a challenge and people, you know, I sometimes we get cranky about people, but you know, for the most part, people are nice and they do the thing where they, you know, you want to cross and they stop. And I'm not even in a crosswalk, like I'm in my bike, right? Like I'm legally a vehicle, right? They don't have to stop for me, but they're trying to be nice, stopping. I'm like, well, I'm not going to cross because that guy legally coming the other direction has no responsibility to stop. And I don't know if they're going to stop, and then they're weird. And they're like, why aren't you going, you know, and it's awkward. It's really awkward, but yeah, you know, that's about it for now.
Sadly, it's sort of what happens in almost all of our towns, though, in Central Oregon. The highway runs right through the middle and often through your downtown, and it's makes, you know, challenges for sure.
So with the new roundabouts and you have the beacons, all that kind of good stuff, were you able to gather any data from when people push buttons or when they approach?
Oh, that's a good,
Like
we only have one beacon right now.
okay.
I think we're gonna get another. But that's a good question. I will ask if they're.
Remember back in the olden days when you could take the flag from the one side.
Yeah.
Still have, stick it in the other side. They still have it?
Yeah.
They still
Not all of them.
you know, mid-street, you're not.
Well, yeah, because usually people walk away with them, so. It's
Especially kids, I've seen,
period.
you know, 3 blocks away from Cascade and anyway.
Don't hit me.
We'll say the roundabouts in Sisters don't have beacons because they're single lane.
Right. I was just wondering, they have the one, right? And then are you gonna add more?
Two.
Yeah, we have one southeast of the roundabout on the west side of town, right by our new transit center.
Okay.
And that's why we put it in to connect the transit center with the neighborhood across the street.
Which is pretty fancy at the transit center. It's pretty nice.
It is. Yes, and we're working on co-locating a lot of, we're gonna build a small dog park there soon.
Dog park or for any dog.
Well, I know, I think it's gonna be a
Gonna be very big either way.
dog park, it's gonna be a small dog park. Small dog park. Yeah, and then I think we're gonna get another one on North Locust, so away from that roundabout, but on, on that route, so.
But yeah, that'd be good if you get data from those. I don't know. I know with the beacon, when you go into the signs flash that says how fast you are, you can get traffic counts, you can get all that kind of good stuff. But I'm not sure if you're able to get that
Okay.
data through the
Yeah.
push button thing.
I don't know if theirs are interconnected, so we do have that sort of data if they're connected, right? We get the push button signals, but some of these RFPs are not connected to data.
Okay.
So you don't really download those, you don't get those activations, but where we do have it, we are using those to create better PED traffic modeling using those compared to what we have had in the past.
I will say, one thing I forgot is that we've been trying to do this in pieces. And so at the moment, we're trying to talk to a couple of consultants to do kind of a quick and dirty look at Highway 20 from border to border, with an eye on pedestrian and bike access.
Sisters is doing that, or?
Yeah, we're trying to, it hasn't been kind of finalized yet, but there's all of these different little pieces and that we've been kind of looking at, and so staff thought, well, let's see if we can just go out and it's not like a big project. They're trying to find, a consultant that can just kind of come in and do a low dollar, just quick and dirty thing, and just to kind of make sure that maybe a low hanging fruit or just highlighting some obvious pain points or something. So that has been kind of a newer development in the last month or so of getting that going, which is great because there's sections that really need attention. So, all right, now I'm done. Thanks.
We had that pathway safety task force I mentioned before, and now we're starting to implement some of the things, a lot of times more sight distance. But one thing that we have a problem with, I'm sure almost everybody does, is when people come to the edge of a road and then on the pathway, they all like to gather there. And then they're waiting for their friends and all that kind of good stuff. And then traffic keeps stopping and then they wave people through, you know how that goes? And so we're going to try on 17 different intersections to put like a center stripe that's like 20 or so feet long before you get to the intersection to kind of encourage people to maybe gather there before they approach the road. So that's one thing I haven't seen out there that we're going to try, and I'm not sure if it's going to work, but by the end of summer, I'll be able to let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. Is there some way to communicate to people out there that this is a new thing that's coming?
Yeah, and Sun River, the number one sign we have is don't ride your bikes through the old tunnels. And the number one thing people get cited or warnings for is riding bikes through the tunnels. So, in vacation kind of towns like that, it's really tough to get people to read those kind of signs and
Right.
listen to them. Another thing that might be going away for us, which is going to be a little bit of a bummer, is we used to have bike patrol for the last 15 or so years in Sutton River, and there's a chance the bike patrol might be going away. We haven't proven it to be super effective, and so maybe one more thing I'll mention is we're actually doing a routing for GIS, all that kind of stuff through Sun River, because your regular maps don't work. Your Google Maps, all that, Sun River doesn't have all that in there. So we're making our own complete, we have a GIS department now that's actually developing all that.
Yeah.
And so we're going to test it out next month, and we're going to give all the board members the code to be able to take on their thing and then find their way to their homes from there. And so it'll be kind of a fun thing, but I think I've been testing it and I'd say we're 90% there. So that's going to be, we're going to have a campaign called Lost in Sun River that'll actually see how it works or doesn't work. So I think it's going to be a fun project. Yeah.
So this will be, so ultimately the goal is like, if I went on Google and then I said, I want to get from here to there and I want a bike, it will actually route me on bike paths?
Yes. And so normally it would take you on the roads.
Right. Oh,
But this will actually take you just on the bike paths.
great.
And then it's a weird thing because then you have the roads that have a stem, and we have like 250 cul-de-sacs in Sun River. And so we'll basically bring them to the stem of the cul-de-sac, and then they'll be able to find their house from there. But it's been a fun project to So we're good.
Are you excited for summer?
You know what? I am.
Oh,
Yes, yes, I am. So,
good answer.
You've had such a mild winter.
Yeah.
You don't mind it.
no, we're ready for some
Yeah,
activity. Anyway, that's kind of the highlights.
Gonna say, I think that center line's actually gonna work quite well, because it's gonna get people to move, because they feel like instead of blocking the shared use path, which is both directional, it
Yeah.
indicates you're blocking other people coming the other way
Right.
too.
Yeah.
I do like that a lot. I've seen
Yeah,
It'd be interesting to see.
Ben Parks and Rec has, they've started doing like a
Oh, have they?
trail too.
okay. Yeah, no, we were just gonna give it a shot and see. We have about 20 different things on the list that we're gonna try, and that was one of the things, so let's see what happens.
Yeah. My son has always hated the triangles, like intersections, the 3 triangles.
Uh-huh.
Because he always felt, especially when he was younger, that they were arrows. So he always felt like to cross the intersection, you had to go to the left side of the lane and cross that way, because they're like pointing like that way or
Things you think,
something.
like road engineer folks, and traffic folks, they know what it means, but
Yeah.
no one else know what it means.
Yeah.
That's always a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, we had many arguments about it, and I don't, but
You probably never won though.
no.
No.
kids have their own ways of interpreting
Yes.
things.
Maybe we should go back to the kids' interpretation. It might make it easier.
Yeah.
Hey, you, stop here.
All right, Derek, you up for,
I
ready or
am. I'm ready.
still got Michelle
All
too.
right, City Bend, lot going on. I think the most recent is these diverters. We also call them modal filters that are going in, kind of in combination with our Bend Bikeways project. And so Bend Bikes is, I saw you guys' route map, looks really good. And so we're installing those like the week of March 24th, and then we're gonna do like an event and a bike tour. I'm looking at early May, potentially May 5th. I still need to workshop that with a couple city councilors, but that's kind of what we're eyeing here. You guys like the name Tour Diverter?
Diversion.
That's another one of those words that regular people.
I know. I'll still work on that.
Is.
But since it's Cinco de Mayo that day, maybe ending the ride at Lake El Sancho on the west side or something.
For the tequila.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm mixing my French and my Mexican heritages here, so I got to workshop that a little more. Looking at applying for this ODOT transportation safety grant to try to get us some safety materials. City Council, I think last week, gave our department, or not gave it, but allocated about 1.2 million to do like pedestrian safety projects. So crosswalks, any kind of these like quick build projects that we can do. And so I'm looking for like some program funding to be able to go in when they're putting these in neighborhoods to have materials to pass out, and potentially some swag and some flyers and handouts and things like that. So I know that's due next week. So I'm kind of working on that kind of pre-application grant. And then Only opened. I just wrote it today. I've written each section of it a couple different times. It's pretty nice. Actually saw another person biking on there, which is cool. Franklin, I've ridden that. That's nice. And I think they're going to start working on the other section of Franklin here pretty soon. Butler Market's about 50% there. And then it goes on to the next phase. What else do we got going on? I think there's going to be some like a shared use path along Neff that's going to, I think, go out to the eastern neighborhood. So that's something that I think ODOT's involved with as well. On that, am I wrong on that, Chris?
Yes, we're working on it.
Okay.
The agreement to get it.
Okay, perfect. Cool. But yeah, just a lot of exciting things happening. We're just keeping super busy with all the new infrastructure that's coming out there and getting people out riding and walking and rolling on it. And just doing a lot of safety data, hiring a transportation planner that's kind of doing a lot of the safety data side. We're doing final interviews now. And also like supporting what I do is going out in the community, telling people about it, doing events, leading events. And so we're hoping to have that person on board by the May meeting. So David, let's check in offline on this route map, and I'm meeting with the team today to get kind of a final schedule for when they're going to do the installs. They're also going to get some mailers out to the residents, and I'd love to plug a date in for that event where they can come out and meet with us. Maybe we can have a couple stops along the way for the neighbors to come out. So, yeah, but yeah, a lot going on. It's probably like a quarter of it. I could go on for a half an hour.
Some follow up from last time, and if there's anything going on with that Maripon North part.
I asked about that, and there wasn't a lot of people are like, not really sure, haven't.
There was a news article.
There was. I saw it, but I don't think anybody's applied for any kind of permits to do anything for that.
It's an open call for permits.
I'm not sure. I don't, but it seems like there's a little bit of a gap there. Maybe they don't quite know what they're going to do with that area, or they're kind of waiting. But it's weird that the news picked up on that, and that I did shop it around a little bit.
Okay.
Ask somebody else. And I was like, okay. So maybe, I don't know. I mean,
the funding you mentioned, was that used for a bunch of little things you said? Is that you send in an itemized thing, or is that you are going to figure out?
It's a lot. We're going to figure out, we're going to start to prioritize where these are going to be in the neighborhoods. We have kind of a GIS layer that shows where they're, and we're also looking at potentially lowering some speeds. That's what city council is directing us to, anything 25, we'd bring it down to 20. I think we can only go about 5 miles an hour under without triggering an ODOT process where they've got to do a thorough year-long review on that. So yeah, we're looking at coupling that with a lot of safety education, but we haven't identified that. We just found out about it last week, and we're okay, let's start to prioritize. And that's this new position will support some of that data and research as to where there's rapid flashing beacons.
Yeah.
Where do we need those? You guys have ideas of neighborhoods, streets that might need those? And there are some criteria, to be able to put in a beacon, it needs to have crosswalk and certain speeds and things like that. So
yeah, it'd be nice to know how that process goes, so that either as a group or just community members can submit idea. I mean, I got a bunch from my own neighborhood, but so the city too.
Yeah, I'll know more about that if we're gonna have a formal comment process, or if that's just something that we're gonna identify. And we have priority routes, we have greenways that still need a lot more infrastructure out there to keep them safe. So to be continued, but I will note that to bring back some information on what that process is going to look like. Dave, you had a question?
Yeah, Derek, how's that related to the neighborhood street safety program, if at all?
The neighborhood street safety program, so that's Christian's program. I think there's a tie-in there, but it's not funded through that program. So, but I think we were maybe looking at how they prioritize those streets through that process as a kind of a proxy for how we would identify these projects. So I think they did a really good job on that project. And I think I read the report of these are these key areas and these key routes, and we're going to rank them and things like that. I don't know if it'll be that extensive of a process. I mean, 1.2 million doesn't go that far when you're putting in refuge islands and crosswalks. It's maybe a handful. But that's going to be I'm going to try to get our city crews to do that work, so we're not spending twice as much contracting it out and bidding it out. So, but good question, Dave. I'll note all this. There's a couple hands up. Michelle's had her hand up for half hour. And then Neil.
Oh, Michelle.
Hi there. I wanted to kind of circle back to the sisters update because I heard concerns about motorist behavior, which is it's an international issue, not just for the state of Oregon and not just for our area, but there is an Oregon friendly driver course that is, you can get information about it on the ODOT website, but also locally Commute Options will provide that training, whether, you would definitely want to contact Commute Options to see about if they could do an in-person course, session or if it's all online. But it's just a great opportunity. It's a really good course, really good course that potentially could, we've already put it out into our family newsletters. We're trying to encourage our parents and our families and teen drivers to take that course. We can't mandate it. It is an optional course, but we are encouraging it. And so it's something that any of your organizations could potentially also push out to help provide some nuanced driver training to help us all. And it does cover crash zones. It covers bike pedestrian interactions. It's a really good course, so I highly recommend it. So that was kind of circling back on the sisters update. And then the Bend update, Derek, I copied you on the feedback to ODOT about the Northeast Norton project. And so if you haven't already seen my copy to you and Janet, take a look at that because you were asking about ideas for flashing beacon requests and such. So that's a request that we would have from Ben Lapine Schools is to have one at, I think it's at 8th and Norton to help with Pilot Butte and Juniper Elementary crossing of students there. So anyway, circle back with that. And then I have the rest of my update that I can do whenever it's my turn.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks. Neil?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the updates. It was exciting to see the modal filters being put in on the 6th Street Greenway. I know that from the Greenways projects up front, the original funding and original hope was trying to get the routes out and the low cost signage, but not putting a lot of additional infrastructure in was some of the earlier goals. But those really do totally change the behavior. And I think considering how people are moving through intersections is a really important piece. So modal filters are super exciting to see the city starting to implement. And also on the 6th Street Greenway, and I've talked about it in this group before, but one block from where the current modal filter is, they also just thought about when you're going from a street without a sidewalk into an intersection where they started to build out ADA ramps. They made it actually accessible when you're coming from the road without a sidewalk. And I'd love to see that design replicated wherever we can, because putting up hard additional curbs to make it so that you have to get even closer to an intersection to get into an ADA ramp is just a really weird design feature. But excited to see that moving forward.
Yeah, hey Neil, can you grab a screenshot of that area and maybe email it to me so I can, and that's the positive example that we want to replicate. That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. I'll send it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Ava? I see you jumped in.
Yes, sorry, I was a little bit late to today's
No problem.
meeting. I have just a few quick updates that I can share. Firstly, we've got a challenge coming up with Get There. We've got the Get There Commute Challenge happening from April 13th through the 26th. And it's a 2-week statewide team challenge between workplaces where employees can log bike, walk, transit, etc., commute trips and compete as a team to win cash prizes. So we'll hopefully have some great Central Oregon representation for that. It's the first challenge of its type, so we're hoping for some good buy-in there. And if anyone wants to get their team involved with that, you can reach out to me. We can get you signed up. And we still plan on doing our usual May Walk and Roll challenge, which is more of a local challenge that coincides with some local in-person events that we do. So I'll share more about that as it gets closer. But that will be a challenge that's open to everyone, not just local businesses. And then in terms of van pools, we have 5 employers that we're working with on van pool right now, with about a total of 88 participants. but one new contract is in process there, so we'll be adding a few more vans. And then I mentioned before, I think we got a grant from the City of Bend's Climate Action Grant Program to work on school pool. So we've been working with Bear Creek Elementary to kind of pilot school pool, which is a carpool matching feature on Get There. So we're excited to hopefully get that off the ground. And yeah, Whitney, my coworker Whitney has also been adapting our e-bike online course and expanding that into Portland. So that will be launching too as well, which is exciting. But yeah, that's about it for me. Thanks for letting me jump in, even though I was late.
No problem. Thanks. All right, who have we missed? ODOT? I was gonna let the county go last. I thought you were still eating.
Oh, this is Don. He's actually with ODOT, but
Oh,
quick, I'll get there in a second. Big ODOT news, wait for budget, waiting for the legislature to pass it. So bill has come out. We've cut lots of money has been cut from things, including the safe routes to school solicitations. I've been talking about that for a little bit, but they're pulling 17 million. So we're likely not having that safe routes infrastructure solicitation that should have opened up already. So that will likely be delayed for a year. So we'll try to do it again next cycle. It'll be about 1.5. Maybe a smaller one, won't be full sized.
I wrote a big unhappy face next to that. Yeah.
Yes, I think almost everybody agrees that's one of our most popular programs, gets a lot of money out to locals, gets a lot of great projects in your schools, especially active transportation ones. So yeah, it is one of those huge losses, but we'll see what happens. That should all be going through. I believe today is the rumor I've heard. Check the news. I don't get any more than you all do though. So we're just sitting around waiting and seeing. Ben Sisters Redmond planning, that project is ongoing. That's what we were actually doing in this room before you all came in. So we're talking about next steps there. If you guys haven't met Don, this is Don Morehouse. He's with ODOT. He is our project leader for that one. So
yeah, it's been a while. I've come to a couple of
you've
these
been
in the
here.
past.
Yeah.
I think maybe even one when I was putting the contract together a couple of years back. But yeah, we kicked this project off and we are calling it now the Deschutes Triangle Active Transportation Plan. So we're not, Bend, Sisters, Redmond, Redmond, Sisters, Bend, however you want to look at it. Yeah, we're looking at active transportation routes that parallel our state highways and even use our state highways in some instances. But what we hope to get out of it is a list of projects that we can fund.
Yeah.
So fundable, not that we don't have funds.
Right.
Seek funding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty exciting and hoping to be more active here at this BPAC and also the Redmond BPAC and then City of Sisters as well. So yeah.
More to come. We're getting on the exciting parts where there's actually lines on maps now. Right?
Yeah.
Moved on from the sort of generalist memos that everybody, including myself, don't like. But it's really, we're about to start. Here are the lines, what's actually feasible, what's not. So more to come. I'm pretty sure BPAC has a representative.
I was on that.
You are. Okay, cool. So that's going. Other cool projects. We have US 21st Street to Greenwoods. This was a combination project with the city. They have arts funding and we're adding more. So working through some paperwork there that should get done June-ish with our agreement. So we should be able to getting it in the STIP and getting the agreement. So that will be extending that road diet all the way to 3rd Street that the city has done so far. That ends at 1st currently. That'll maybe 2nd, I can't remember. That'll extend it to the corner of 3rd, and then we'll have to do something at 3rd because we have to change the signals and do a bunch of work. So more to come, but I'm super excited about that project.
It's gonna happen on the other side of Greenwood.
So that 3rd to 6th Street section.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out, it's a bit complicated because in order to carry that road diet through,
Yeah.
coming westbound into downtown, that right lane becomes a turn lane. Functionally, it's a turn lane already, but that becomes a right turn only lane. How do we deal with the bike traffic? Typically, our treatment would be stick them to the left of the right turn lane. That's not very all ages friendly, right? Because now you have high speed right turns straight. So most likely, we're gonna put in a multi-use path there. So we will route end the bike lane. It becomes a multi-use path for, say, a block starting at Fourth. And then bikes will have to use the, whether we do a bike signal or ped signal, most likely just the ped signal. But you'll have to cross that way. So it's not the most intuitive, but it is more all ages friendly than sticking in between two lanes bike lane. How do we transition people over? So
there's a possibility that you'll actually put a pedestrian signal in at that intersection. Now, that'll be
there's already a ped signal at
well,
the
it's like pedestrian only signal. Is that what you said?
well, there
At Sixth Street.
It's at Third.
at Third. I mean, there is already the ped push button.
Right, but I thought you said that if you have a multi-use path on the right side of the right turn lane, that you would have a pedestrian only signal across 20.
I said a bicycle signal, but we likely won't do a bike signal because it doesn't make sense to have a separated signal because you'll have to stop anyways because so they'll have to use the, again, this is
Okay.
speculating.
Yeah, all right.
Use the ped signal to get across there. So, yeah, excited about that project. And then we have a bunch of crossings on Third Street there. I mentioned it last time, but we've had a few, unfortunately, ped fatalities along Third Street. So using our quick response program for that, we're looking to build 2 crossings, one at Norton, one at Lafayette. And then we had another fatality up at Seward, so we're looking at crossings at Seward, Thurston, and Underwood as well. So
On Third Street or the Parkway?
on Third Street,
Third Street.
So 5 of them?
yes. 4 of them would be new crossings. One of them at Seward, it's currently, there is a marked crossing with an island, but it's not an RRFB. So we would upgrade that to an RRFB.
Chris, do you know any of those signals in Central Oregon where you don't push a button, but as you approach, it senses you're approaching and then lights it up for you?
For cars, yeah.
I don't know, for bike ped.
Bike peds, I don't know of them. I don't know if I think Olney, the city is using it.
Are they?
It's detection. I haven't been there recently.
There's a really, really cool one like that in South Corvallis.
Yeah, I've seen them some other
It's
places.
like LiDARs, the person sees the bike and then it.
Yep.
It automatically turns the light on for you.
Yes, we do have that detection with a lot of them. They're not LiDAR. We don't typically use LiDAR, but it's just camera detection. But you can set the zone for bike peds as well. So, and we have done it in the past also with the in-ground wires. Again, that requires metal, heavy bike, but yes, those would be way better, but that would be part of that conversation for Third Street though.
Yeah.
How we automatically trigger it or set a zone in there. So that way the bike doesn't have, get off your bike to the push button area, then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yes, we'll have that conversation, but that's a great flag.
How are those spots on the crossings, like other than reactive to incident, like the Third Street crossings? How do you prioritize or pick those out?
It's a very complicated question right now. So we do have target crossing spacing, so theoretically, based on the urban context, speed volumes, we should have crossing spacing every once in a while. How do we fund that in the project in terms of that prioritization, you say?
Yeah.
Depends on the project, what the color of money is, how we do that. And then what's funding these on Third Street, those 5 I mentioned, that's a reactive program, that's our vulnerable crash response program. And so we're trying to act quickly to fatals. Sort of flagged my brain there, that might come up in our reports next time for potential treatments in sisters, if we wanted to talk about that. So that's that same funding pot, so we'll do that because an incident that triggers it, but otherwise, I say it's complicated because we're also switching to a capital improvement plan, so moving from our typical ODOT STIP cycle, 2 years, this is what's coming up, 3 years, into a 10-year type plan, and so now it'll have to be in a 10-year plan and percolate upwards. So it becomes a bit more complicated in terms. of how it rises up that priority list. We don't fully know yet
Right.
going forward.
And then the signaling thing, I'm just curious, because it's like, I don't know what ODOT's role was in the Third and Wilson whole project and the crossings there. But I see that like almost daily of like, everybody does it differently. Like when I bike it, I bike in the green lane, I follow the traffic light. But I often see bikers then stopping, walking over, hitting the button, waiting, because the traffic light often turns green before the ped signal. And I just am curious, like the inconsistency at these various, so that if Third and Greenwood is different, I think that just makes it confusing for people. Like, can there be dual signals, or is there, if at one intersection, the bikes are supposed to cross with the ped sign, but at the other, they're supposed to cross with the traffic sign, that makes it confusing for drivers and cyclists alike.
Yes. Yes, very good point. So starting that first question, what's our involvement? ODOT is the contract for the city of Bend to operate all the signals within the city. The city actually owns it though, so we will help set them up, but it is the city who designs that, and then we'll work with them to get the timing appropriately.
The city has a really good video about how to use that Wilson Third intersection. And it says that the bikes are supposed to follow the car signals.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but nobody else is.
100%, it's off.
Different at a different, and nobody watches, and the drivers especially, like, 'cause I've had the interaction there of the drivers, because I get, you have a little bit of advance notice, but like it's a whole nother with the kind of like turn apron thing there, and you all are familiar with all that, but I don't know, it's just the consistency is kind of what I'm trying to zero in on, like if it's different at all these different places that.
100% agree, and I disagree with that design where it bends people and it puts the bicycle next to the crosswalk, because then drivers think you're supposed to be, you head one as well. And it also doesn't make it clear that as a bicycle that I'm actually going straight. They think you're turning, so I think it adds a lot of confusion. We have the same issue with ODOT roundabouts and a lot of things. I've gone off on my soapbox on those before. But yes, I think it's weird design that we should do better on, but that's typically, unfortunately, who the designer is and what the standards are. And
well, it'd just be nice to know how to like influence that when new ones come in. So
for sure. So for Third and Wilson in particular, that one is a city. City owns it. We just help operate the signal. So
what will Third and Greenwood be? Will that be an ODOT or?
That will be an ODOT one. So that will be a full blown.
It's the highway.
Correct. The highway goes down Third, then turns left.
Yeah.
So yes, I'll definitely bring those designs and those conversations as we start going with that project and have conversations here so we can talk about it a bit more.
Thank you.
So does anybody know if the only Wall Street intersection is set up just like the Third and Wilson one?
It is, and I'm seeing the same issues that he just brought up. Yeah.
There's a lot of green paint though. It makes me slow down when I'm driving my car. I'm like, oh, something's going on. I better watch out. So I like that.
Green paint's nice. I'm also curious, this might be too much of a tangent, but at Third and Wilson, like we've seen a lot of what I'm assuming are accidents from people coming in, vehicle on vehicle accidents, but like turning off of Third Street onto Wilson at too high of a speed because they're not ready for the turn apron. They're clipping people in the left turn lanes. I don't know if you all seen any data or anything on that, how that's, so I've seen probably a handful in the past. I haven't seen them actually happen, but I've been driving or biking through there and seen the aftermath at least a handful of times in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, watching I live near the Portland and Wall configuration. Yeah, I mean, it's similar to learning how to use a roundabout,
right?
Learning how to navigate, how to turn your steering wheel. Yeah, when you're coming into it on a bike, how to figure it out. Yeah.
We should have like safety fair down there for Maddie sometime and like, here's how to do it.
Well,
Here's how to practice.
Sure. The biggest thing I see on the Third and Wilson is that there again, bike is in the bike lane on Third or Wilson. I don't care which side. And all of a sudden now you're making them turn and become pedestrian.
Yeah.
I know it's a separate little lane, but in the eyes of people driving a car, you've now made them a pedestrian.
Yeah.
And the little island that's there drives by, a semi could never get through there. Box trucks go crazy. It's probably the worst intersection design I think I've ever seen.
No, we can talk about.
Sorry, Ben.
It's okay, I didn't design it.
Just gonna say, I'd like to flag this, we can talk about this all the time, but I'm gonna propose that we move this potentially as a summit activity. I know it's later on the agenda, but
Yeah,
conversation point, because I don't wanna take too far in.
thank you. Michelle, you have your hand up. Do you have a question about what we just said or a comment? Because if we've got a question, go ahead, comment. We can hold those. You're muted. Still muted.
I have to leave pretty soon for another meeting. Would it be possible for me to
Yep.
provide the Ben Lapine Schools update pretty soon?
That'd be great. Oh, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, thank you. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And I wanted to show everybody something that we did this last month. Can people see this picture?
Yep.
Okay, so I just wanted to demonstrate, this is a pilot that we did at Jewel Elementary School this past month, where there was a request or a concern that the bicyclists didn't have really a place to get to and from the school from the north end of the school property. So for a week, we put cones out as a pilot, a bike lane to provide a space. And it was so well received by everybody that, let's see how quickly I can find my other picture. It turned into this. Can you see this picture, the after effect?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, and we did this all within like 2-week period of time. Like pilot 1 week, got paint on the ground. The next week, I'll have to admit it was good because the weather cooperated. That helped. Okay, so that was just a little show and tell to let you know that sometimes pilots can move forward quickly and effectively. And it's just been a big hit with the school, the families, and our facilities team was great to work with to get that done. So then a couple of other updates. We also will be looking at grant opportunities, the Safe Routes to School. And Chris, I couldn't hear completely everything that you said, but I think my understanding is the Safe Routes to School grant application process won't open until about the end of March now. That was the last I heard. Does that sound right to you?
Next year. So we'll likely delay it 1 year.
Like all?
Yeah.
Correct.
So not
Likely
just
till
the,
27.
so not just the construction, but the education, etc.
TBD, but I don't know if they'll want to break cycle. So they had merged it so they're on the same cycle. Education money should be mostly safe, so they might proceed. I don't know. So
okay,
wait and see, but I was talking about the construction part.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I knew the construction part was going to be delayed at least. Okay. Okay. And then I also, sorry, my voice gives out on me sometimes. I also wanted to update everybody about our upcoming Train the Trainer bike and pedestrian education training. So anybody in this room will receive an invitation to do Train the Trainer training. I'm sorry, Train the Trainer. So in other words, you would be trained on the ODOT Jumpstart Bike and Pedestrian Safety Education Program. It's going to be held on April 15th. It's a Wednesday. It's going to be held in Lapine at the Parks and Recreation District Gym. And so again, you will receive an invitation. I'm going to send this out to members of the team here. But it would be basically an all-day training. A lot of it's going to be bike related, but there's also going to be pedestrian training. And it just helps us all refresh our skill set on bike and pedestrian safety training. And then we will be borrowing the Jumpstart fleet of bikes as a trailer that comes fully equipped with bikes, so that our 2 elementary schools in Lapine can use those bikes for their PE class training. And a question you may have is, how does this all relate to commute options? Well, first of all, Commute Options has been and will continue to be a really great partner with us. It's just that we have learned that Commute Options does not have capacity in its spring schedule to be able to provide our training in Lapine. So this other resource is an ODOT sponsored training. And so it's another Safe Routes to School partner. So since, to fill that gap, that immediate need that we have right now, we're bringing Jumpstart in for the spring training. But we have an agreement with Commute Options to provide bike and pedestrian training in Lapine in the fall. So again, I just wanted to let you know that's coming. So mark your calendars, you'll get an invitation. It's April 15th. It's a Wednesday, all-day training down in Lapine. And another, I mentioned already, we put some feedback to ODOT and the city about our requests for improvements on Northeast Norton, since there will be some project work done in there shortly. So I think the open house and online link to provide feedback on that Northeast Norton project is still open. And finally, I'm excited to share that a sophomore from Summit High School has been selected by the ODOT Safe Routes to School team to be our Central Oregon representative to the high school task force for Safe Routes to School. And so I'll have the opportunity to work with this student over the next few months. His name is Micah. He has a project in mind that will help one of our schools. And I know we want to involve other partners like Ben Bikes and Commute Options in the project. So more to come on that. We're just in the beginning planning stages for that. Okay. Any questions for me about anything I just shared?
No, thank you. I don't think anything.
Okay, thank you so much for letting me jump in.
Yep, thanks for letting me know. All right, who's left? Anybody? Oh, Bob. Yes, Bob and Pat.
I don't, still winter, believe it or not. So we're still skiing.
There's still some snow.
Not cycling really yet for OAS, so.
Bob?
Brief update from Redmond. We're continuing to work to identify potential safe routes to school projects, but based on what we've been hearing today, evidently the urgency has been dialed back just a touch, but we're going to continue to work on that. We've spent the last several months gathering a lot of sidewalk data, and we are exploring how we want to approach the city with that, and basically what types of outcomes we'd like to see. There's, I'm sure like everywhere else, there's a lot of some infill, and there's also some other, larger areas of Redmond that sorely need some sidewalks. So we're working on that. Another kind of related issue is we are looking, I think for the first time in quite a few years, at expanding our quiet street network, which right now our network consists of basically 2 streets. So we're going to be discussing some additions to that. And then finally, we are working feverishly on getting ready to host this group in June. So that's all I have.
Great. Thanks, Bob. I think that covers everybody, right?
Bob, could I ask you a quick question? Did you all get a new staff liaison in Redmond?
We do.
Okay.
We have Sarah has somehow Sisters poached Sarah, and so we lost Sarah, but Sarah's been replaced by Lindsay Cromsite, who's the assistant city engineer for Redmond, and so Lindsay's doing a great job, and we're after kind of a 2-month hiatus, we're back at it.
Awesome.
Bob, how do you spell her last name?
Cromsight.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Great, thanks, Bob.
No H. There's no H. CROMSIGT.
And I was gonna say earlier, we were talking about the triangle and those three cities, but we do have a pine also. So we have a triangle with a little tail, and hopefully those multi-use paths down to Lapine are gonna continue to get funded and move forward. But we shouldn't leave Lapine out. That's all.
There's 2 separate projects.
Yeah, but I
So
mean,
for
we're
right now,
talking
you can
about
leave
that triangle.
Actually, it'll be a lollipop.
Getting those, yeah, we'll have like a little bit of that. Just don't want to leave for Lapine out of the
Well,
conversation.
they're way ahead of us. Most of us.
All right, so we have some business, March minutes, let's approve those.
So moved.
Seconded.
Nice. Yep, okay.
That was the least words I ever heard on a vote in my life. That was amazing. Nice job, everybody. Sorry.
Now you've made it belong.
I do that.
Hero award. We're finally getting ready to, we've got. So did you not put this one in the?
I didn't put it in the format, no.
Okay.
You want me to enter it?
Sure.
You're awesome.
Thank you for having it up. So we have 5 now. I think that's, we have, I don't. You can't access this, can you? Can we, yeah, the form, we could share it and see what was up there. Has everybody,
We have our.
their homework?
I did not, but email just found it. I looked for it, but
I'm joining.
Share your screen.
I didn't send it as a link in the agenda because we have so many people on there that aren't part
yeah.
of this group. But it was it was one last month. So there was an email that had a link to the form. Okay.
I got a link to the
It's in the
form,
shape.
but not to the results.
It's in the shared drive. So I'd like to not be the only one that uses the shared drive.
I use it.
I know.
I didn't.
There's a few people that do. So somebody that can share their.
I'm getting there.
Okay, all right, great. It's in the shared drive under the Hero Award.
BPAC Hero Award nomination 2026.
Yeah.
BPAC's all big, tall.
Capital.
I have it pulled up. Do you want me to share screen?
I just about have it, Matt.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks, Matt.
If you can share, or you can't.
And then when I looked at my application, I realized the first part of mine I hadn't attached to it. So I have just a few things to say about my organization that weren't in the thing.
So did we have categories? We had
No, we did have categories, but we were basically gonna wait and see who was nominated and then build the categories around the nominations.
Categories are best plan, best project completed, can include individuals, agency, team, contractors, etc., or champion dreamer. And that is where all of our nominations have ended up.
That's in champion dreamer.
Correct. They're 100% champion dreamers. Plans be darned.
No plan? You could,
No plans.
you could fit that one in plan.
Oh, I could put
plan.
it in plan. I'll do that.
Okay, we got a plan.
Got a plan. That's right.
You got a plan for the plan.
Oh.
Not a co-host.
Yeah, I'm not a co-host. I've got a,
See, Matt, I'm gonna try making you the co-host. See if you can share. There you go. That's starting it.
right.
There you go. Nice. There it goes. We see it.
So fabulous.
Yeah. Can't read it, but we can see it.
He's working on it.
Can you all see that okay, or should I go bigger?
There.
Okay. Let's see. I just lost my option. Oh, there we go. 200's my max.
Yeah, that's big enough.
That's plenty big.
So it starts with the nominators, and then it gets over to the categories. And then this is the key column, I think, the nominees.
Yep.
And then we've got an overview and some contact info, but looks like we have Ariel Mendez, James Teeter, the Horner Foundation, Ben Bikes, and Chris Chang with the best plan.
Definitely not me, so.
Get in there right before the review committee.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very sweet.
We love you, Chris.
We figured we'd give you a half award because you're gonna have to.
All right,
It's like-
so go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We go with our.
So we have, I look at this and think we have so few. And if they're all worthy, is that ridiculous that they all get it?
Not at all.
How many do we have?
Five.
I don't think it's a competition where you have to take anyone out. I mean, I think.
Well, the whole goal is what we're trying to do is shed light on the things that we want to be identified in the future as good projects or good ideas. And removing somebody or a project from that seems like it'd be limiting and not what our goal is.
Yeah.
So why?
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
We might have to come up with some different names.
Right, as far as, yeah, yeah.
I will say, definitely shouldn't say my name, but I'm glad to accept it for ODOT Region 4 as a team, but they.
Put your name on it and then ODOT Region 4.
Do it right now.
Maybe if there's a category for organizations that work with youth, so that could be maybe one of the categories.
We could call it.
We're not recruiting
for
anymore.
the transportation and
There's
then
people.
focus on this project.
Sure.
No, I think we're talking about,
She has the
You're talking
one
about
in the
that.
corner of
Most of the work on it, so.
yeah, changing the categories, not necessarily the.
Getting more, yes.
Right.
Just to get outside of that
Sure.
category that.
Yes.
Or do we keep them the same?
We got what, 5 candidates? We had way more for street removal or snow removal.
Right.
And we gave it to everybody. I don't see why we can't give it to everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
As long as everybody agrees they're worthy of it.
can we go through them real quick from top to bottom?
Yeah.
That one now top.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Ariel Mendez.
Who nominated this person?
I did.
You want to share a little bit?
Yeah, I think Ariel really rides the bike the way he talks about people should be riding bikes and, shows up for the walkabouts and really is available to listen to people about what they need. And I think he's a user of the system in our town, in Bend, in his town. And really, instead of sitting at a conference table and saying what he thinks, he knows. He's like Jennifer. I sit on the side of the road with my yellow coat because I know, right? So that he's involved in that way.
I would agree.
Yes.
I know him.
That is my pitch for Ariel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what about James Teeter, who nominated?
But I've nominated James Teeter. James is one of those people in town. I think disclosure, we talk about being friends, but we don't spend that much time together. I feel like many of you are in that camp for me. I'm like, I wish I could spend a lot more time with these people, but James is someone I've worked with through Envision Bend. He was on one of our Vision Action teams. And it's just a bike ped advocate on his own time. He's a professional engineer at Ashley Vance, but he's been a part of a number of City of Bend committees. And my understanding of the history of the Hawthorne Bridge is that he played a big role in doing some of the initial professional renderings that helped bring some of the attention and funding to get the Hawthorne Bridge. So it's not quite completed, but that's where it felt like he's a dreamer transportation leader. He also helped bring transportation planners from the Netherlands to speak to the City of Bend about roundabouts and separated bikeways. And I think those meetings, I know a number of you were there, really had a big impact on the folks that were there. And we were already doing roundabouts, but I think really pushed some things forward. So I just felt like James to me stood out, and so I wanted to make sure I nominated him.
Sounds good. Yeah. Your turn.
Yeah, so I did Horner Foundation because they work with kids and get oftentimes, I mean, they're one of their focuses is racing, but as a byproduct of that, they're out there teaching kids how to ride safely on the streets. Many times kids who don't have driver's licenses yet, they're not old enough, they may not know the rules of the road, and then how to ride safely together in a group, which is really important because there are some different skill sets involved with group cycling. And I like the fact that they have a bit of the equity, where they have the free bike library, and they want to include all people, BPAC, marginalized youth. So I think they really try to stress community in their program as well. They have to all participate in some community things. So I just think it's helpful to get kids out there and riding safely.
Great. Ben Bike.
Nominated Ben Bites.
Andy Neary did. He is obviously not here.
Guess that makes it you.
Does anybody
Their
else?
own bike.
Want to say anything?
No, I'm part of Ben Bikes. I mean, I think we do a lot of good work. We are really active with the city in a number of ways, and we're doing a lot of work on advocating for better bike infrastructure in town. Do quite a bit of outreach at community events, school events, and provide volunteers for a lot of walk and roll to school days. And for example, we're sponsoring a bike bus to Earth Day this year. So those are the kinds of activities we do.
Great. And last but not least,
Chris, ODOT. This project has been a challenge from the beginning. It's working with a lot of different organizations, working through legal hurdles. It's working through all that. It needed a champion. Chris was that champion, and ODOT supported Chris in that process. So I would call this the planning award, with Chris being on there and ODOT being underneath it. Okay.
his job.
Just alternating that.
That's gonna hang in your office, not theirs.
Put a name on it.
So we've got a couple of organizations and then we've got some individuals. Do we want to title them differently?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thoughts on what we title them?
The champion dreamer is kind of individual, right?
It lists team, individual, education, encouragement program, and other. It was kind of like our
So I guess it was everything.
catch-all.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about if we call that one, would that be a champion? Because we're talking individuals and you normally have an individual that's putting that forward.
I think champion fits almost all fits all of these really.
Yeah, I agree.
Just the difference
Yeah.
between individual and organization.
Yeah.
Like, we just want to elevate the good work that's being done,
Yeah,
right? So let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
recognize them all.
Yep.
So do we want to call it all the same thing or call it all something a little bit different?
Well, yeah, do we want to call the groups something different? That conveys the same message.
Right.
They're all kind of both.
I kind of like being able to have the ODOT one and Chris as plan.
Yeah.
Because I think in the future, we want to spotlight a plan that we want to see get completed. And this might help with that.
Yep.
It's an award-winning plan.
There you go.
It's now.
Yep.
That should get us some grant money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, oops. Oh, Bill left.
Chris left.
Yeah, I know, geez.
Oh. That was,
He's gone. All right.
Neil's got a question.
Yeah, I was just thinking of, because they didn't fit neatly into categories ahead of time, if each one could just be the hero word for, and then like a 5-word highlight of what it is. So, local visionary support on the Hawthorne Bridge, or like, we could kind of make up the subtitle for each project, but then have the title still just be the hero award. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Who's gonna make up
Who's gonna make up?
Who's gonna make up the?
Hey Neil, how do you feel about taking that on?
Yeah.
I think Neil had a good one there with his,
Happy to.
Okay, great.
perfect. So do we have a date that we're planning these to be?
It's got to be on the county commission docket.
Yeah.
Oh, so we need Tanya. for that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she's out for a few days. Yeah. More, so.
The only thing I'd say is that I didn't read this until this morning, and I'm really disappointed that nobody, including myself, nominated Redmond BPAC. But we can save them for next year if
We can still nominate them.
Well, man, next year would be great.
we'd have a sourdough starter for next.
Yeah.
I like it.
Don't screw up, Redmond.
Kill your starter.
In the work.
We're the only city that has its own BPAC, so
Yeah.
you better do good work.
Yep.
The pressure's on.
Yeah. That is a good one. Okay, do we need
So
to vote?
then what we think is Neil will put together some verbiage associated with it, then we were gonna put it like into like just a simple plaque, is that right? Or just into a frame certificate kind of thing that then would be handed out at the county commission?
Yeah, with that great logo that we have.
Yes. Okay, and so then we would have, as Anthony's
He's not here today.
but then he could put it into it, and then if we need to throw a few bucks into different frames or whatever, I'm happy to help out with that. If anybody else wants to, we could work with Anthony on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll have to get with Tanya to determine when we can do this at. So I would expect it's probably not, what's this, March? Not until probably April. Is that when we talked about doing it? Was it in
The
April?
goal was, when we started, our goal was to be in front of them twice a year.
I know.
And so that would still fit with that time frame just fine.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have a lot of sidewalk shoveling.
Just
Replace that, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we're not doing.
sidewalk sweeping.
I'm just gonna say it's like winter sweeping award.
Thank you.
Okay, so Tanya. All right. So, summit planning, we talked about having a committee or maybe even having an ongoing committee that's year round so that we're not always trying to, start all over again, right? So that we have this continuing to go, or at least have somebody responsible for it as a part of the BPAC. Is anybody interested in that first. Does that seem reasonable to continue it versus restart it every time we think about it?
Are people going to be committed to want to do it for a long period of time?
I don't know. I don't know. Is it another? Go ahead, Jen. You look.
Oh, I mean, I think there's value to that, especially if we want to really stay on this annual track, which we've gotten a little bit off. But also, have a shared drive, and as long as information's being kind of stored in there, it shouldn't be a huge lift for people annually. And it doesn't mean people aren't going to come on and come off of the committees too. So.
Right.
Well, you've got terms of people on the committee as well, which will influence that.
Sure.
Good, yeah.
Because that's the next thing on the
That's
list.
the next thing on.
Half the committee's term ends in June. So it's not like we're spaced out
Yeah.
every 12 years.
Or maybe at the very least, just have a committee chair.
Right.
Like just maybe just one point person, instead of trying to get like 3 or 4 people to kind of.
So my understanding, so just to go kind of combine those two things, my understanding is these terms that are ending, renewing them, they're 3-year terms? Will they be, because I think some of these were very short because they took over somebody who left.
Kim's was short because she took over. But everybody else is
I took over for Rachel, right?
yeah, but everybody else, the other 5 are all 3-year terms.
Are they? Okay. Megan.
Do rotate still. So you don't have to.
They term off
Right.
at different times, right?
Yeah. So that means all these will be 3-year terms again. And as long as everybody that's on here, I think the only one that's not here is Megan Winchell. And she hasn't been at a meeting in a while. So.
I don't know her at all.
Yeah, I feel like it's been at least 4 months.
At least.
Yeah.
At
You may
least.
want to touch base with her. Find
I
out.
think she was here 2 months ago, but
Was she? No.
I think so.
I will reach out. But everybody else that's on there, anybody choosing to leave?
On there?
David, Kim, Wendy, and Jennifer.
Good.
And Megan.
You want me?
I'm planning on at least one more term.
Semi-retired.
Well, that'll be 12 years, so.
Really?
Yeah. So that-
Dave, time flies.
I know, well, now you guys, if you all want me to go, I will. Stop.
How long have you been on it?
All right.
Remember.
20.
We started when I was still a city councilor for Sisters.
Yep.
Because I was the Sisters rep.
When was that?
So I'm really horrible at remembering numbers and years.
Okay.
I know, like OAS, we do it, I mean, I can help you with we just have a little matrix, and so if the terms end in June, you always go back like 2 meetings, so April. You say, okay, you need to submit, yes, I want to go back, or no, I'm done, and then we vote on it a month, assume we have to vote on it, so then in May, we would say, yeah, okay, we'll keep Wendy around for 3 more years, but that also, it just gives you a little deadline.
Yeah.
So you could just send like a short email.
Okay.
We moved independent 15 and then I had.
Okay.
This
was in May's.
You were elected in November 2014.
Okay.
Agenda.
You only got
It's
it by a
committee.
year.
Yeah, for the summit.
Year and a half.
We should just appoint that right after whatever the previous, we're in a kind of a limbo right now, but then. So if your term expires, but you think you're gonna renew, you can join the committee or not.
Yeah. So anyway, do we have somebody that wants to, who is really excited about running the summit?
Somebody that's done it before would be great. I would be happy to help, but I don't wanna lead it, because I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't want to lead it, but I'd be happy to help. So,
Yeah.
We have 2 co's leading it.
Yeah, it was a team effort. It's
yeah,
always.
it's gonna be, I was gonna see, it's gonna be more than one person or couple.
And I'm totally willing to help with the speaker stuff and that kind of thing, but I can't do it for free. So, I mean, I can't be the boss of it unless you pay me. 'Cause now I'm a capitalist, so there we go. Cards on the table.
Funny, we have, that's like.
Exactly, yeah. I'm not raising my hand.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
I could get paid for all those years I've been on this committee.
Right?
All right, so
Remember, Hal Deschaux is really interested in helping the
that's, yeah.
COCC.
So do you
He's
have
the
that?
chair.
Yeah.
He's not here, so he's
We just-
volunteered.
So that contact information would be really. um,
His contact?
Yeah.
I can give it to you.
Matt, you're looking like you want to say something.
That's what
Well, I
I.
cleared my throat, not realizing I was off mute, but I'm in the same boat. I definitely want to be a part of the group and happy to help, but I don't feel like I can champion the summit effort. But just an idea to get this small group or folks that are interested in helping with the summit together and kind of start divvying up tasks. I think it is helpful to have a point person, and I really like the idea of connecting the summit to a role on the leadership team. Just I think de facto it's been vice chair the last few years with David Green taking the torch, but I think that helps just for consistency year after year. Because watching the committee, I think we just all hit a point where like it's a big lift, like maybe next month, and then we're like, oh, it takes a while to pull together. So, but just I guess one idea to get the group together and start the conversation, who's interested, and then another one to tie the summit corralling to a position, maybe the secretary role, which we no longer have, but something like that, or just create a new one.
Matt, you're going for the secretary roles?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're breaking out. All right.
Yeah.
Hear that? I heard Matt is the secretary. Yeah. All right. So I will, how about I throw the Kim, Matt, Pat, myself, will figure out a time to meet and figure out, if you have
Sounds
tasks, figure out what's going on. And if anybody else would like to join, please let me know. And
Did we decide to do them like every 18 months instead?
no more than,
No
no more than.
Then, okay, it is a big lift to do it every year. But we'll see how it goes this year, maybe if we get it pulled together.
We need also to discuss whether we're still a tri-county summit or a county summit. Because we've had
Right.
actually no interest or involvement from the other two counties for essentially as long as I can remember.
Being on the COAC, because we discussed this a few months ago.
Yep.
I asked that very question at COAC meeting. And I really got from the reps from Cook County and Jefferson County a blank look.
Yeah, like, nobody knows that this is a thing or an agreement or anything.
They used to. They
Yeah.
used to know.
Yeah.
But we haven't
They literally
bothered in
just
a long time.
Yeah.
kind of went like this. And so if we invite them, they might come.
Well, those aren't the right people to
No,
invite.
well, I know, but I
Yeah.
mean, they're the reps of those counties.
Yeah.
And those are the people that we would contact to try and get people.
Well, there's other people in
No,
the
no,
county
no, I
who care.
understand.
Well, I think it's great to invite them,
Yeah.
but asking them to actively participate for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, it's not only been no interest, but they have actively said, no, we're not coming.
I think if we invite them, we can maybe figure out, maybe get somebody. But if we don't invite them, they're not gonna pay any attention. They're not gonna care.
It was kind of an 80-20 thing where like 80% of our energy was spent on trying to find somebody
Yeah.
from those two counties. And we did, the last one we had a couple speakers from Jefferson County. It was more about,
But that happened the day before the summit.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was really.
Clarifying question. Why are we doing a summit? What is our goal to have this event?
We have to, why don't we meet and talk about that?
Okay.
And then present that to the rest of the group? Because that would determine who gets invited and what we're talking.
Exactly. And what we're doing for it.
There could be an opportunity to co-host it with Bend or Bend Bikes or another organizations. So we're not,
As a community member, like before, I thought it was like interesting because it's like, okay, I can come in a few hours, get all the top highlights. This is what is relevant to me as a bicyclist in Bend, especially right for the next year. These projects are happening. This is how I get public comment. This is the groups I can get involved with. I can meet some people. That's you know, but I think we could dial in what the mission of the event is
Mhm.
and you know, it probably doesn't matter if just
It
Jefferson
seems
County's
like
there.
people overall enjoy it for the most part and get something out of it, you know,
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, but yeah, that's a
The
great
reason we
conversation.
had the first ones, and you remember this, is that the commissioners asked us to be better partners with our neighboring counties. That was the whole point,
Right.
to bring the counties together. But that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if anybody
And
cares
it's
anymore.
always, every time we've had, I know when Chris was running it, he struggled and struggled hard trying to get people from those other counties. And I think maybe if we took that same amount of effort to tie maybe people from Deschutes County, somebody from Lapine, somebody from Bend, somebody from Sisters, and do an overall of Deschutes County, which we are Deschutes County. I think we might have a better summit, but that's just my take of being at many of these summits that we always struggle, always trying to get.
Some of the summits I get the most out of are not in Deschutes County because I'm learning more about what's happening outside the area. And we've also talked about like if we had them in those areas, we might have a better opportunity to recruit interest in being part of BPAC. So, I mean, when I like think back about the ones we've had, like a Prineville was great through that whole process.
Remember when the speaker rode his skateboard in, his longboard into the room?
Yeah,
So awesome.
So it's like, but like, so there's some advantage, I think, that way. And does it really hurt us to include those other ones?
Just a lot of work.
Yeah. And then we talked about the logistics of getting everyone to Prineville or to Madras or to the other. Because, you know, we can barely get people to come here, right here, and we're pretty central. It's a long day, and if you work, you know, it's a lot of time. So
Well-
there's some things we still have to kick around.
Well, you know what, let's let the group work on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But times do change, and we have to sort of be a
Yeah.
little bit aware of that, but.
May I make a
Yes,
comment?
I thought you looked like you were wanting.
At the last Hawthorne Bridge open house, I don't know if you guys know Hal DeShow. He's like, he's a professor at
That's
CTO.
talking about.
Oh,
He's already.
yeah, no, he approached counselors, Riley and Mendez and myself and was like, we need to do like a cool transportation summit. And I was like, well, we kind of already have one through BPAC. I was thinking he thinks more holistically, like maybe it's not like, you know, maybe there's a little bit of transit in there or like something and kind of regional leaders and, you know, just a little more robust effort. But I was like, I don't have the bandwidth to create a whole nother summit on my own.
Well, he offered to have this.
As long as there's a connection there, I was okay. Sorry, I wasn't tracking that, but good. On the same page.
It's famous.
House famous,
Yes.
yeah. And he just had a baby, so he's
A tiny baby.
Mr. Amos.
okay, cool.
No, we're over, but I'm gonna suggest something else real quick, but if there's also some other, depending on what the goal of it is, if there is some way to tack it on to some other stuff that is going on, say Derek is the former president of RP TAC or something like that, as they're coming here, that's one of those conversation points, might make the lift easier in that they're already doing presentations, things like that. We can invite some of the same people or focus it. So, you know, it's the transit conference, but we're also tacking on one day at the back end for people who want to stay, sort of active transportation as well. So there's some of that overlap, or you could have some of that sort of statewide conversation, viewpoints from different area. So
Yeah, the next OTA one that is going to be in Seaside. So, yeah, unless you guys all want to go to the beach and travel there.
Well,
It's tough to get people from Jefferson County to go to Sun River.
Mhm.
Because we had that, 3 years ago, we were at Sun River.
Yeah, there might be other things going on there.
depending on your goals, I could easily bring ODOT folks over too, right? If we made it about roundabouts, we could turn that into a learning opportunity for.
Be a friendly event.
I am out of town that day.
yeah. They'll be there for a week and we're mixing about roundabouts.
All right, we didn't get to our working groups or external committees, but is there anybody that has anything that they needed to update
Yeah.
quickly before we go?
Real quickly from COAC on, there was a nice presentation about potential things from Madras all the way to Pine. And the report was put together and the different cities put together not huge projects, little projects. And there was 14 listed from all of the cities, and 9 of them were crosswalk.
Oh, that's exciting.
And now the goal is that the next, I don't know if the next COAC or the one after that, to whittle that down to give a smaller list to ODOT to say, these are the ones we put on to-do list short term. But it was interesting, it was 9 of the 14 were.
Well, no, number of them would have been safe routes to school. Would have just been like, oh, those are safe routes projects.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, these were actually crosswalks.
Well, I know, but that, I was there, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Metolius especially, they had crosswalk needs at their school, on the
Yeah,
highway
yeah.
and stuff like that, so.
Yeah.
That's.
It was-
And this is for the step, right?
Thanks for being.
Yeah, it's for the CIP.
CIP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Oh, meeting adjourned.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, if we go too long,
Guys.
Kim's gonna bill it.
Bye, everyone. Someday I'll make
That
it
would be
back
nice.
in person.
We got-